This is like the most ridiculous presentation I've done in a while. And I'm really quite glad to be here with you. Okay, so the thing about chocolate and coffee, and the reason that they're two of my favorite things, is that they're normally in B flat or E flat. So the odd thing about a chocolate finger is that the ends actually sound different to the middle. So how many of you got an end left? Okay, good. Anyone who hasn't, try and grab one, and I'm going to count to 3, and I'm going to play you what a chocolate finger tastes like. It does make me quite a fussy eater, but, you know. Right, ready? 1, 2, 3. So it's kind of uncomplicated. It's thanks. It's sort of gentle, unchallenging. Now the end has got more chocolate on, so it tastes like this. And then that extra chocolate kind of gives you that kind of it goes off a bit barky, which is probably why I like chocolate fingers so much. They're it means that the world I experience is very rich and intense compared to many other people. And as a result of this synesthesia, I don't think this is going to work, is it? I have some slides that I can talk about without you seeing. I'll try and psychically send them to you. The problem is that, well, there was an experiment on here that I wanted to run that involved you, the audience, because one of the things that I'm quite obsessed by is audience experience. When you think about what we do, we receive music passively a lot. We sit and wait for somebody to deliver music to us. You know, you go to a live show and you've got a certain degree of interaction. But it's a bit like watching TV. Nothing wrong with that. But a lot of the time, the audience don't actually have to do anything. And I believe that the audience, if they experienced more, could probably get more out of it. Do you think that's going to work? I like your thinking. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you, just because we're waiting for this to get to work, I'm going to play you what walking around Music Tech Fest today sounded like. Okay? Is it working? Amazing! That will wait to the jam. Well, I'll kind of play you a little bit of it. It kind of goes... That's actually the landscape outside. It's very kind of gentle. So that's basically, right, at least I can do this bit now. So we've briefly mentioned the synesthesia thing. I think that everyone's got it to an extent. And hopefully you kind of understood where I was coming from when I said, you know, that the ends tasted different from the middle of the chocolate fingers. And then I mentioned very briefly about this conventional performance. You put your headphones on, you let someone make music for you. It's very unidirectional. I like things that blur our combined experience of sound, not just my sound, but other people's sound. And it starts with an idea. And then I have to work out what's required to make the idea exist. And when I started prepping this presentation, I realized all of my music hacks are about the audience, not the performer. So here are a few of my ideas, briefly. There's this one, the bass hammock. That's where you lie on top of a massive subwoofer and you experience 5.1 surround sound whilst lying in your bed watching your favorite movie. There's this is the humming engine. 4 people all together will experience what it's like to play in a quartet with no musical training whatsoever. There's this, the bass jar, a therapeutic way to experience bass frequencies. Maybe your hearing isn't that great. Well, the idea is, and that's a heat exchange pump at the bottom because it's going to get really hot. It's like a massive rubber jar. There's the human tag cloud. Everyone shouts a word. All the words get played back at once. The cocktail party effect should tell you which word is the loudest. And then I share these ideas online. Some of them become real. That's the word cloud. There's a day at BBC R&D, although the most used words were the, and interesting, so it obviously needs some iteration. But it got made. This is a blog post that spawned the democratic dance music experiment with none other than Music Tech Fest's own Adam John Williams. The idea, work out the perfect formula for the best build and drop, in dance music terminology, and use smartphone accelerometer data to derive the wiggle index. Here are some pictures of this. Got the Science Museum involved, and I even managed to persuade BBC Click to film it, which was quite fun, because I normally get told off for wanting to do too many music technology things. This is the result of a request from the BBC to make a TV feature explaining beacon technology. And I thought, what a boring way to get interested in beacons. So I got obsessed with the idea of location-based music mixing. And Regent Street in London has a beacon, sort of an installation, which when you walk down the street, it tells you, buy some jeans, buy these things. And so the idea I had was to subvert it completely. With a guy called Jakob Tomanik, who's pictured here, we turned this commercial undertaking into an art installation. I learned how to map beacons, and the idea is that you become a mixer. Wherever you walked, the beacons that you were closer to got louder, and I composed this sort of sound bed, about 10 different things that had to sound beautiful throughout the time, whether they were kind of syncing or not. Now, this idea sounds a bit frivolous, but actually it could be used to make beacons into a way to experience the world sonically, especially if you've got some vision impairment. You know, stations could sing to you, and rather brilliantly, that started to be implemented in a few UK rail stations, so yay, music tech. I also built the humming engine. I was driven to build it, and I watched a ton of YouTube videos understanding piezoelectric mics. Now, this is probably a really simple hack compared to a lot of the things that people here at Music Tech Fest do. This is my dining room table. I had to eat off of a chair when I was doing it. This is a massive error with heat shrink sizing, and that thing there was delivered next door with no packaging. The neighbours probably wondered why I had 1.2 meters of rubber tubing delivered to my house. That's 3 weeks in, the device finally works. That's a mineral water bottle, and it's sort of like a USB audio converter. And then this is my humming engine. Yes, it rocks, it worked. I performed it live with 4 people from the audience. 30 people tried it at this event, the Hack Circus Underworld event. I only broke 2 canisters. I made 6, so I was quite glad I made an extra 2. It made The Independent. Woo! Yeah. And BBC Radio covered it as well, which is kind of fun. And I think part of that is the whole experiential side of it. It's not just about sitting and sort of, that kind of jazz stereotype where people just whittle away on their own and they're really happy and they don't care about the audience. I like the other way round. So music glitching is a live experience of musical soundscapes. It's a brilliant thing. It's an experiment that I'm doing now started from the reality bending roots of the real-time sound processing of the real world. You've probably played with generative sound apps like RJDJ, and the practice isn't new at all. It's been done for a long, long time. But I wanted to live compose reactive musical soundscapes. Did that work? Don't know. It's going backwards. Anyway, it sounds really cool. And it's online. So I just, very briefly at this point, have to mention my Periscope show for the next part to make any sense. This is the final part of my presentation, and you are involved in it. So this show is where I play musical requests. I sometimes mash up 2 songs at once on my piano, and basically it's doing really well. Crucially, it's as much fun for me to do as it is for the audience. And that feedback is a massive part of the sort of musical experience. I actually did it with a live audience, and it worked really well. I also tried to connect my musical glitching synesthetic composing thing to the web. I don't know how we're doing for time. There's about 20 seconds of video.
We're way over time, like way beyond.
Way
over
beyond.
Time. So you play your video, and we're just going to keep going till they throw us out.
Okay. One of them's got me swearing in it with delay. I wonder if you can hear it.
Dodgy connection there.
World's first
reactive, live, concert.
I never swear on telly. All my kit fell out on the floor, and there's 1,000 people watching. I wasn't expecting that sort of level of, hey guys, you know, this is when it's working. This is a sort of few minutes of actually working. And loads of people hung on the line to watch and join in. They told me when it was working, when it wasn't, what sounded good, what sucked. You know, loads of people kind of shared that experience of iteration, and they took ownership of it. So that leads me on to the final bit of my presentation, which is connecting audience to the experience. John Cage's 4 minutes 33 seconds I put here was as much about the sound in the concert hall as the person on stage performing. I want to take that idea further because I know we've got a very unique audience here at MTF Scandi. Are you up for experimenting? Oh, I'm so glad about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to compose something together. You'll be using what you have available in your seat, and I'll be using this, and I'm going to probably have to... Oh dear, I'm the clumsiest person in the world. How can I do this smoothly? So there'll be some instructions that you'll have to follow. And hopefully I can control these two things at once. Does anyone want more chocolate fingers? Help yourself. Yeah. The look on the customs officer's face when I turned up with 2 bags of electronics and 240 chocolate fingers. Okay, so what I'm going to do, audience, I'm going to play, and I'm going to ask you if you feel like taking part to join me. There are enough of you, so no one's going to stand out unless you want to. Some requests are going to come up on screen, and hopefully the combined effect of everyone doing something similar might sound suitably extraordinary. Now, I've not done this before, and I did a little look online. I don't know if this is actually something that's been done before or not. So, I have no idea if this is going to work. How exciting. Okay. Keep going. Okay, try this one. Oh, that's nice. That sounds like rain. Okay. Oh, I've gone up too many. Here we go. Okay. Keep humming if you like, and stamp your feet in time with my left bass hand. Okay. So I'd just like you to think about how you feel at this moment in time. How do you feel about the person next to you? How do you feel? You've shared an experience. You've shared a vulnerable state where you've been making noises. Did it feel good? Did it feel strange? I hope so. And that's why I wanted to examine the old mode of passive listening and show you the power of interaction and the audience experience. Thank you very much.